Hey everyone, it's time for another long form video, and this time we're going to talk about Games Workshop and its future possible acquisitions right after this quick intro. Hey everyone, it is Tasty Taste from Blood of Kittens, and here we're going to talk a bit about the great announcement yesterday from Games Workshop, and that is what exactly do you get with the Warhammer Plus subscription. And Warhammer Plus is a Disney Plus type thing, but just for Warhammer 40K and Games Workshop content. And so we got the details of that, and luckily the price point, which I thought was going to be $1 million a month, ends up being probably not as cheap as it should be, but is reasonable, especially if you get a free model, and if you buy the yearly subscription, you're going to save on a couple months. So might as well just do that, get your free model. At least for a year, the value is very good. So it's Games Workshop's attempt to be like, hey, give us a try, give us a try. If you like the value, you're going to keep on subscribing every year. So kudos to them. They've actually got a good price point, and they also released a bunch of content of what we're going to get. But as you may have noticed, a lot of that content is what you can find for free on YouTube. Battle reports, lore reports, just, art and painting tutorials. So with that being said, I want to hone in on one specific point, and that is the Loremasters show. And the reason I want to focus on this because it might have some legal ramifications or content ramifications for the YouTube community and the YouTube community that produces lore. Now, as many people might not know, if you're not following analytics and following all the ins and outs of who has the most subscribers, who has the most views for Warhammer 40K content or Warhammer content in general, lore, by far, hands down, has the most subscribers and content. So if you have someone like Luchin or Major Kill, their subscriber base is so much larger than anything, any bat rep channel, any tactics channel, any other just general Warhammer 40K channel, even most of the painting channels cannot compete with your average high quality lore channel. And this is also important because lore channels are very cost efficient. They're not that very expensive to produce. You're just reading into a mic and you're putting up some nice graphics, some maybe 40K art, maybe changing your voice, modulating a little bit, maybe adding some character. Very simple stuff. There's no cameras, there's no anything really involved. It's just low cost, low maintenance, and there's even some really bad lore masters out there, especially the couple old ones, where they were just reading Wikipedia pages for our lore and just putting that on YouTube. Smart at the time, but also very lazy, and looking back on it is kind of sketchy. So, with that being said, Games Workshop has their own Warhammer Plus version of this, which will be Loremasters, which will be hosted by Games Workshop Studios. And, this could be very high quality, and I suspect it to be very high quality, as we're going to see, they're going to have authors of the fluff, authors of the lore, probably voice actors from Black Library will also be voicing in, and interviews and that sort of thing. So it's probably going to be way cooler and way nicer than even the best lore masters that we have on YouTube. But this begs the question, will Games Workshop do something about the current crop of YouTube lore masters, since they are the most popular, and there's been a history of Games Workshop going after, let's just say, people for using their IP in ways they do not like. So let's dive into specifically what I mean about this right now. So let's start with a little history lesson of the last year or so that kind of brings this theory of mine together of a possibility of Games Workshop being bad Games Workshop and not good Games Workshop, which we've been used to for the last couple of years. But they progressively becoming more and more bad Games Workshop. And what I mean by bad is that more greedy versus less greedy Games Workshop. So with that said, let me give you a start what I'm talking about. So about, I think, 6 months ago or so, a certain lore master, a certain lore YouTuber that has had questionable comments made politically about things was banned from YouTube for a particular amount of time because allegedly these bad things he was said, and Games Workshop allegedly had an overzealous intern or something go and get him banned because he was using their IP, and that was kind of the excuse to get rid of him. But in the reality, it was because of all the nasty kind of politically charged things he was saying. He has since been, of course, brought back for whatever reason. I don't know what the details are, and I'm sure he has a story of a thing about it. I'm not going to give him any more airtime than he needs. You can go and find him. I'm sure you already know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so that showed that Games Workshop still has, kind of pulse on what's going on in YouTube, and an idea of like if they don't like certain content, they might just go and be very belligerently go after it. That was an extreme case. But a less extreme case, and a case that was repeated over and over again over the last year as well, is Games Workshop not buying, but I guess you could use the word buying, but yeah, we'll use the word, it's crude, it's not really what it is, but basically gobbling up all the animators that have made great animation. The most famous one, of course, is the Astartes guy. He was approached by Games Workshop and signed a contract, and as you've noticed, all his YouTube stuff on his page have been all taken down. They're all on Games Workshop right now, which we'll assume they're free at the moment, but they're all going to go to the Warhammer Plus. We can just assume that's going to happen. When that launches, they'll all go off of there. They won't be free anymore. You can only watch them there. So Games Workshop also gobbled up a couple other studios, and they've since also, those studios or those groups of people have also taken down all their YouTube videos and are going to be putting them on Games Workshop's Plus, Warhammer Plus side. So this begs the question, if Loremasters is successful, will Games Workshop, bad Games Workshop, decide it is time to go after the Loremasters? Because a majority of Loremasters that put out YouTube content for Warhammer consistently use pictures, images, straight up quotes from all Games Workshop IP content. It is very easy for Games Workshop to make a claim to YouTube, especially, who has very much a trigger finger to just ban stuff because they don't want to be caught in some random lawsuit that could jeopardize their own position, and they're also their own, could, you know, kind of jumble up all the case laws that have gone on for digital copyright. So Games Workshop will be very quick to be like, hey, we're getting rid of all Major Kills videos, all Luchin's videos, because Games Workshop doesn't want them because they're using art. And Games Workshop could just be like, hey, you can put these lore videos back up, but we're getting rid of it because you put a bunch of art in here that's IP and protected, that it's our art, you can't use it on your channel. And this, in turn, you know, while it's not just saying we're getting rid of your content because you're talking about Warhammer products, we're going to do it in such a way that you're going to force you to do so much work that you're not going to want to put that content back up after those takedowns, thus getting rid of all these YouTube lore people. I can easily see Games Workshop doing this if they decide to be bad Games Workshop. So also, if they're going to be half bad Games Workshop, half good Games Workshop, as the case what they did with the animation producers, is that they could be like, hey, you big lore people, you can either take this check from us, or you can shut down your station, take this check and come and join our system and produce videos for us. I can see it as a possibility for the certain ones that have really high quality, and then Games Workshop kind of just, you know, does play whack-a-mole and whack them all. So I'm just curious to see what Games Workshop's going to do with this. I think it's a big deal. I think people are not making it as much as a big deal, and I've heard a couple people talk about this right when the announcement happened, but it's much harder for Games Workshop to say go after battle reports because you own the toys, you've painted the toys. It's much harder from a copyright, trademark attack. You can do that. There's also some fair use you can do, but also if Games Workshop focuses on attacking members of the British YouTube community, which have different rules and regulations, unlike in America where we do have a very robust fair use thing. And if you want to go look up fair use, go look that up. Also, it reminds me, hey, if you like this video so far, go hit like and subscribe. See that segue? That was pretty good, wasn't it? It actually wasn't that good. But anyway, hit like and subscribe to the thumb bell thing, and we do all that YouTube stuff. But anyway, back to the topic. So yeah, since different countries have different copyright, trademark, fair use regulations, Games Workshop will have to be very strategic on how they go after people if they decide to go after people. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but it kind of makes strategic sense for them to do it. They, like I said, they did it with the animators. They can easily do it with the people that create lore, especially because a lot of this lore content is just straight up pictures of art that is theirs that Games Workshop owns, spliced with just reading quotes or compartmentalizing and putting quotes together in a form. Games Workshop can make an easy case to get those taken down if they wanted to apply that much pressure. Will they do it? Probably not. I mean, a lot of the big IP houses like Disney and Netflix and even sports agencies like sports like NBA, they don't really go after these people, even though they say they can at any moment they could. So it remains to be seen if Games Workshop will do this. But Games Workshop has been litigious in the past. They've been getting progressively a little more litigious, and they also have this kind of new policy of the, give you a good carrot, even though they have the stick behind you. They started this with how they co-opted all the large tournaments by giving the tournament organizers either playtesting roles or giving them goodies to say, hey, play by our rules and you'll get all these goodies. They've done the same thing with the animators. I can see them doing the same thing with the YouTubers, just kind of this nudge, nudge, nudge. And, you know, if the lore people go down, then you might start seeing, will they go after painters? Because there's a painting channel, will they go after battle reports? It could be a very slippery slope. I don't think Games Workshop will go that far, but be on the lookout. If we see one of the lore masters that's on YouTube decide to join Games Workshop, it could be a cascading effect where this continues down the road. So, like I said, be on the look for it. Anyway, if you like this video and if you like my conspiracy, please comment below. Let's talk about it and see you guys next time. Bye.